So to summarize this entire process within 30 seconds, safety or how secure this is when you're investing in US by sitting here in India. Now there are 4 entities that are involved when it comes to the process of buying stocks in US. Let's go ahead and purchase Apple. You are now a shareholder of Apple Incorporation. Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope everyone's doing fine. Now, in the previous video, I talked about as to why you should consider investing in the US stock market. And in this one, I'll be discussing as to how you can go ahead and do that. And along with that, I'll also be discussing the allied mechanics and facts which one should know about if he or she invests in the US. And towards the end, I'll also be showing you a demo by going ahead and purchasing some of Apple shares myself. Now, there are 4 entities that are involved when it comes to the process of buying stocks in US. So first off, we have an Indian stockbroker. Now this is an entity whom you have to approach for the first time if you want to buy stocks in US, and these companies also provide you a platform that is like an application or a website through which you will complete your entire process of investment, and you'll also keep track of the investment once you're done doing it. These services provided by this platform are completely online, and it makes the entire process very seamless when it comes to investing in the US from India. Now, a few examples of these kind of companies would be IndMoney or Grow. I personally use IndMoney, but you can go ahead and approach any other broker that you want. Number 2, we have an Indian bank. Now, this is the bank where normally you have your savings account, and for the purpose of buying a share in US, you need to convert your Indian rupees to dollars, and these banks are responsible for doing that. Now for the purpose of completing this entire process, you would have to link your Indian bank account with your Indian broker whenever you're approaching any broker, and this transfer that would be made from India to US would be made under the LRS scheme, which is also known as the Liberalized Remittance Scheme, given by the Reserve Bank of India. Now, as per this scheme, one individual can transfer a maximum of $250,000 from India to US in one particular financial year. So that comes to around rupees 1.9 crores, and I think that's enough for most of us. Now, one important point to note here is that in order to make this transfer from India to US completely online from the comfort of your home, there are as of now only 5 banks which provide this service. So these banks are HDFC, IDFC First, Kotak Mahindra Bank, ICICI, and IndusInd Bank. So if you do not have an account in any of these 5 banks, you would have to physically visit your bank branch and deposit some forms, and that's how you can transfer. So that becomes a bit of a hassle, but there is one option wherein even if you do not have any account in any of these 5 banks, you can do this transfer process completely online, and I'll be talking about that in a bit. Now, after your bank in India converts your money from INR to dollars and sends it to the US stockbroker, that particular stockbroker would be responsible for executing and purchasing the shares, the order of which you placed in the IndMoney app or whichever broker you're using in India. Now, the way this works is because the broker in India has a tie-up with this US broker, and whatever order you're placing using the platform provided by the Indian broker is getting finally executed by the US broker in US. Now, IndMoney has a tie-up with a broker called Drive Wealth LLC, and whichever other broker you approach, you should find out which broker they have a tie-up with, and you should inquire about the same. Now, one important point to note here is that whatever shares you're purchasing from India, those shares are not held by the Indian broker, but they are held by the broker in US in a demat account. So if I purchase shares using the IndMoney app, IndMoney would not be holding my shares. That would be held by Drive Wealth LLC in US in a demat account there. So that is something which you should note in mind. IndMoney in this case is just the intermediary, and my shares in demat form are not with IndMoney, but they are with Drive Wealth LLC. So the last entity that we have in this entire process is the US stock exchanges. So like we have 2 major exchanges in India, that is the NSE and the BSE. The 2 major stock exchanges in US are the New York Stock Exchange and the Nasdaq. Now, one interesting fact about these stock exchanges is that unlike in India, in US, different companies are listed in different stock exchanges. So the companies which are in NYSE, you would not find those companies listed in Nasdaq. So for example, if I want to go ahead and buy stocks of Tesla, I would have to do that from Nasdaq because that is not listed in NYSE, but that is not the case in India with NSE and BSE. But you don't have to get bothered with this much. Once you place the order, this is something that will be handled by the stockbroker in US. So to summarize this entire process within 30 seconds, you first approach a broker here in India which has a tie-up with a broker in US, and then you tell your bank that you have here in India to convert and transfer the money from India to that particular US broker, and then when you place an order for a particular US share through your Indian broker, then your stockbroker in US would utilize the money that you had already sent to buy a share from a US stock exchange. And that's how you end up owning a share in US by sitting here in India. Whew. Now, before going forward and showing you the demo, there are 2 points which I want to briefly discuss. First is taxation. Now, when it comes to taxation, India and US have a double taxation avoidance agreement, wherein if you make any income from your investments in US, they won't be taxed in both countries. They would be taxed in either one of the countries. So in case of taxability, 2 situations can arise wherein you have to pay tax. Number 1 is from your capital gains, and number 2 is from your dividend income. Now, when it comes to capital gain, that is the gain that you make from the appreciation in the price of shares, there can be 2 circumstances: long-term capital gain and short-term capital gain. And the rules for these 2 is applicable as per the US tax laws and not as per the Indian tax laws. So a short-term capital gain would arise if you sell your shares and realize a gain on or before a period of 24 months. And in that case, any gain that you make will be taxed as per the income tax slab. And in case of long-term capital gain, after holding your shares for a period of more than 24 months, any gain that you make would be taxed at the rate of 20%. So that's what the taxability is when it comes to capital gains. Now, in case of dividend income, any dividend that you receive as a result of holding shares in a particular company is taxed at the rate of 25%. Now, this tax would already be deducted from the dividend that you would get, and you would get the net amount here in India. So if your dividend is $100, US government would already deduct $25 and you would receive a net dividend of $75 here in India. And an important point is this tax that has been deducted can be claimed as an input tax credit here in India when you are filing your income tax return. This is because, like I said earlier, these 2 countries have a double taxation avoidance agreement. So that was about taxability. Now, the second point which I wanted to discuss was charges. So whenever you're transferring money from your Indian bank to the US broker, they will charge you a fixed fee of around rupees 1,000 to 1,500 for every transfer that you make. So it's important that you transfer a lump sum amount at once and you do not do it again and again, because they will be charging that fixed amount every time you make a transfer. Now, IndMoney has introduced something through which you can avoid this charge, and I'll be discussing about that in a few moments when I show you the demo. Now, to clear one thing up, I'm not sponsored by IndMoney. I wish I was, but I'm not. I'm just telling you because I personally use IndMoney and I see these benefits which the app provides. And the second charge that we have here is the USD INR conversion rate. So when you're transferring money through your Indian bank, the conversion rate is slightly higher than the actual rate, and that's because the bank charges a commission of some sort, and this is also goes into the bank's pocket. So these 2 are the only charges which is there as of now when you want to purchase any share in the US stock market. So now all that is cleared, let's go ahead and purchase Apple. Now, like I said earlier, I'll be using the IndMoney app to show you how I purchase US shares. I'll not be showing you as to how you can register in the app. I'll be linking a video for that below. You can check that out. If you're using the app for the first time, you have to upload few documents, you have to link your bank account, you have to do all that initial processing, which is really easy and self-explanatory in the app. Now, let's open the app. And I go to US stocks here below. You can see it's currently showing that I have a wallet balance of $2.19. So what is this? Now, if I go to manage, you can see they're saying I have a 2-in-1 US stocks account. Now, let me explain this. Now, as I was saying earlier, if you want to transfer any money from India to US through an Indian bank, there is a charge for that. And if you want to do that online, there are only 5 banks which allow you to do that. Now, IndMoney here has tied up with an SBM bank, that is, it's a wholly owned subsidiary of the State Bank of Mauritius, which allows you to make that transfer from India to US without any charges. So after you register in the IndMoney app for the first time and do all the documentation and bank linking, you would see prompts in the app that would tell you to open a Super Saver account, which is nothing but an account with SBM Bank that they have here. And once you do that, you will be allotted a bank account number like any other account that you have in India. So it's basically opening an account in SBM Bank, but that happens really fast and seamlessly through this app. Now, what happens is once you open an account, you already have a tied up account in IndMoney, and through that account you have to transfer your money to SBM Bank, and then SBM Bank would convert that amount from INR to dollars, and then that they would send that money to US. And once that transfer is done, you would be able to see that converted money in dollars here in your wallet. So the amount which I was reflecting here, which is $2.19, I had transferred this amount through SBM Bank to US, and that's how this got reflected here. Now, one point to note here is that if you want to deposit any money in this SBM bank account, the minimum amount that you can do is rupees 5,000. So let me show you. Once I click on add money, you can see it's showing that amount should be greater than 5,000. And this is something which in my opinion makes sense, because in any case you're avoiding all the charges. These 5,000 rupees which you would be sending is void of any charge of any sort. So you can accumulate your money. If you don't have 5,000 rupees at once, you can accumulate 5,000 and then you can make the transfer, and you can do this multiple times without any charges. But this would not be the case if you had to do using your own bank. So this is something which is fine for now, I feel. So let's say I want to add 5,000 rupees because that's the minimum amount. I'll click on transfer now here, and you can see it's clearly showing that first I'll fund my Super Saver account, and from that the 5,000 rupees will be converted to US dollars, and then I will be seeing that in my US stock account wallet here in the IndMoney app. And you can see I have these two banks linked below, so I have to use this bank now to transfer 5,000 from this bank to Super Saver account. So that's pretty much how it works. Now, after you have opened a Super Saver account and transferred your money to US, it should reflect as dollars in your wallet. So if I see my wallet balance here, you can see it's $2.19. Now let's say I want to purchase Apple shares. You can see these are all the US stocks that you can purchase. You have Tesla, Alphabet, Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, Meta, and the likes. So let's go to Apple. Currently it's trading at $164.61, and the market is live, so you can see the price changing on a live basis. Now the US stock market timings for India are different, so you can see that somewhere around here I'll be showing that. So if you buy any share outside of this time, it would still be pending in your order section and it would get executed once the market opens. So currently, since the market is live, if I purchase any share now, it would immediately get deposited in my Demat account that is there with Drive Wealth LLC. So let's click on purchase. So now is the interesting part. So as you can see, I have an available balance of $2.19 only, but one share of Apple costs $164.61. So how can I purchase it? The good news is in US you can buy proportionate shares. So you can see the minimum order value should be $1. So if I write $1 here, you can see I can purchase 0.0060747 fraction of an Apple share. So that is great when it comes to purchasing shares, especially in US. This option is not there in India. So now if I click on place by order, you would see the order gets placed immediately and you are now a shareholder of Apple Incorporation. If I go into Apple and if I go to transactions, you can see the first transaction is the one which happened right now. And my wallet balance, if I check now, it should go down by $1. So if I go back to my wallet, you can see my wallet balance is $1.19 because I just spent $1. So that's how you can purchase US shares using the IndMoney app. Now, if you're using any other platform, the process should be similar. And anyways, any of these apps that you go to, they have a step-by-step guide. The process is really simple and seamless. You won't have any problem. But anyways, for IndMoney, you saw how it is done. Now, what would happen if you want to go ahead and sell any share that you have held? Let's check how it works out. If I go to Apple here, and I click on sell, and I want to sell shares worth $1, and as soon as I click on place sell order here, I'm not going to do that now, but as soon as I click on place sell order, this amount would get credited to my wallet, which we just saw earlier. And so currently I have $1.19. If I sell shares worth $1, I would have $2.19. Now that's in dollars. Now what happens if I want to get that converted back to INR in India? So then I would have to place a withdrawal request. For that, if I click on manage here and if I go to my US stocks account, you can see that they're saying that withdrawal cost is $5 and I cannot withdraw within 30 days of funding my US stocks wallet. And it takes 4 to 5 days to process the same. If I click on withdraw, I'll give the amount that I want to withdraw and I can click on confirm and withdraw and I'll get the withdrawal. I'll not do that now because I have $1.19 and the charge is $5. So you should keep this in mind. If you want to withdraw, the charge is $5. That's around 380 rupees. Yeah, that's the charge which you have to bear. For me, I think that's a good thing because that would help us to remain disciplined, because anyways, if we are investing in equity, our minimum time horizon should be 3 years. So the longer we remain invested, the better it is. Now obviously this is if you want to convert it to INR. If you want to sell any shares and buy any other share, you can do that easily. But yeah, most probably if you want to sell, you would want to get it back converted to INR. That's how the withdrawal scenario works. And the last point which I want to discuss is safety. Now there could be concerns of safety or how secure this is when you're investing in US by sitting here in India. Whenever you're approaching a broker for investing outside, know about the US broker that they have tie-up with and find out a bit about them. In case of Ind Money, the US broker, like I said earlier, is Drive Wealth. And Drive Wealth is the registered broker there in US, and it's a member of FINRA and SIPC, which is Securities Investor Protection Corporation. Now anyways, when you're investing in US, for example in this case I was doing it via Ind Money, if anything happened to Ind Money or Ind Money went bankrupt or anything of that sort, still my investment would be safe because those shares are there with the US broker, that is Drive Wealth. But if anything happened to Drive Wealth also, if Drive Wealth shut down or it became bankrupt or anything, SIPC gives a coverage of 500,000 US dollars per customer. That converts to around 3.8 crores. And anyways, even if you're investing from India in US, you would be governed by US laws. So in terms of safety, it's quite safe. There is not much that you need to worry about here. So that was what I wanted to cover about investing in US. My intention with this video was, even if you do not have any knowledge about investing in US, you would be able to do that after watching this video, and in the next 5 to 6 days maybe you would have any US company's share in your portfolio. If you did not watch as to why you should consider investing in US, you can check that one out here. And if you want to know about the factors which would help you choose the right mutual funds and stocks, you can go ahead and click here. That was it for this video, and until the next one, take care, see you, and bye bye.